Welcome to the Raw Food Health Empowerment Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Salmon, certified holistic health coach and author of You Can Afford to Be Healthy. And this podcast looks at a holistic approach to health from a multi-generational and multinational perspective of women of color. Thank you so much for supporting the Raw Food Health Empowerment Podcast. We have some great content and events coming up in 2021 that I'm excited to share with you. If you enjoy this podcast and you enjoy the episodes you've been hearing, please share your favorite episodes with 10 of your friends and let them know that this podcast exists. My success is really dependent on you loving it and sharing it with your friends. So in advance, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We all know that plants are really great to have in your home because they clean the air, which we've talked about on the podcast before. They uplift your spirit, right? Bringing nature inside is just good for your mental health, right?
Yes.
And I know you're such a green thumb. You have so many plants. And I've asked you before, what is your secret to growing plants? Because before I had a hard time growing plants. And you told me, talk to them. And when I did that, I managed to grow 3 plants to like full bloom. A money tree. I grew a money tree. My mother-in-law tongue grew and was thriving. And even though that one is not that difficult to manage, but the money tree in particular,
Yes.
I was really proud of myself for that. And when you said talk to the plants, it was like, oh, okay, that's the secret sauce. So I was talking to my plants, and I know you say you talk to your plants, and it seems like some scientists heard you and took this to a whole nother level. They took it to a whole nother level. Scientists have taught spinach to send emails. Have you heard about it?
No.
Yes.
Well, when my plants start doing that, I'm letting them go.
I was I was gonna ask you how much communication do you really want with your plants?
Okay, let me tell you what I do, because they're living things. It's
Yeah.
just like they're living things, and once something is alive, you can talk to it. It's just like if you talk to a dog, the dog don't respond, but the dog could hear you talking to it. But to me, every living thing has some kind of ears.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk life into your plant, and you can talk death into your plant. But what I do with my plants, I talk to them, and I also leave music for them, because plants love music. If you don't think a plant can dance, put it outside when it's windy and you see a plant dances, because it dances to the wind. But they love music, and they like when you talk to them, and you can be harsh with them. If you're watering them, don't drown them with the water. It's like you're going to drink water, but you take sip by sip. You're supposed to water your plants just the same way. Water them with love.
So you said something about overwatering, right? Which I think like right now I've seen in like Home Depot and things like that, where there are these, tools that you can put inside the plant where the plant can communicate if it has enough water, and I like that type of technology, because
But if
that's
you know your plants, you say, Sam, you have to know your plants like you know your children. The mother-in-law tongue, as you call it, mother-in-law tongue, because they have the right name for it. I don't remember it offhand. I have a lot
snake
of
plant.
those. And it's just this year I found out that you only water them every 3 weeks. I never knew that before. So I was actually suffocating them with water, because I would water them every Sunday. But the way I water my plants, they really can't die, because I don't put too much water in them, but I was doing it too often. You're only supposed to do it every 3 weeks. Anything that is succulent, like thick leaf plant, like aloe vera and all that. Aloe vera, you probably water it maybe 3 or 4 times a year, unless you put it outside for the rainwater. Too much rainwater, not bad for your plants. Isn't that something? If you have your house plants, you put them outside, and if it rain every day, that rain don't kill the plant, to help them grow better. But if you keep it inside and you water it as often as it would rain, your plant die. Isn't that something?
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. If you walk in the rain now, you don't drown. But if the rainwater catch into a pond and you drop in the pond with that water, you will drown.
Yeah.
The same thing with the plants. Because remember, the water drains through. It don't sit there. Right.
So with the one that you told me to get for the house now was, what is it, a rhododendron or something like that?
Philodendron. They grow in water. Those you can water if you want to put water in there every day, don't kill it. But you don't put a lot of water. You just, give them a cup of water. Like you're thirsty, you're gonna drink some water, but you're not gonna drink a gallon of water one time.
Yeah. So it won't grow mold at the bottom?
No, because that's another thing too. When you do your plants, what I do, I put stones at the bottom before I put the soil there. So it make a drainage, so the water drains out into, because you have a container that you set your plants into. Yeah, and every so often you need to change your soil, which I do it every year around this time. I buy fresh soil and refresh my plants. But no, it won't grow mold. Just don't water your plants too much, and you can go online and look at the different plants and see how to take care of them. It's not difficult.
Yeah. So this article is from Euronews that came out a while back. They write in there, through nanotechnology, engineers at MIT have transformed spinach into sensors capable of detecting explosive materials. Then they can wirelessly relay this info back to scientists. The spinach roots can detect certain compounds, which then causes the plant leaves to emit a signal. The signal is then read by an infrared camera that sends an email alert to the scientists. It's new technology called plant nanobionics, which gives plants special abilities. So I think it's so interesting. And I know there's going to be reservations and concerns, right? Because they're using spinach. It's not like any plant. It's like, a plant that we actually eat.
And spinach is a very sensitive vegetable too,
Yeah. So along this line, since you have the researchers actually taking this communication with plants into the scientific realm to actually make it more concrete for folks, what abilities would you want your plants to have?
It sounds crazy. And if they do, I run out of the house and leave them. They're able to talk.
But you say you like to talk to them.
No, you said what ability I would like them to have.
Right.
What I would like them to be able to do. I said to talk to me back when I talk to them. But I say, and if they do, I'm running out of this house.
That's what I'm saying. Like you like to talk to them, but they don't talk back.
No, they don't talk back to me.
That's why they make good friends.
But you know why the response is so beautiful? When you look at your plants and you see they're thriving, they appreciate you and they appreciate what you're doing for them. And they're very good company.
Yeah, because they don't talk back.
They don't talk back, and you get so much from them. You get oxygen from them.
If your plants were to respond back to you, what do you think they would say?
I love you.
I feel like they would come back with so much sass. I don't think they could live in that house for all those decades and not have any sass to them.
Sam, my plants, they retaliate. Like there's certain plant I put outside.
Yeah.
I could actually hear them saying to me, why did you do this to me? I was so comfortable inside. Look at me now. Because the leaves them get burned, they look pitiful. But I know that Mother Nature is very good for your plants. They need to be outside at least once or twice a year. You know what I'm saying? They need some of that. Just like you don't need to be locked up inside. You need to be outside amongst the trees and stuff and get some of that beautiful oxygen. So when you take your house plant and put them outside, they gravitate. They take from the trees and so what's out there. They're being replenished. Because as a matter of fact, I just did a video of some of the plants in the front that I take from out of the dining room that I keep in here right through the winter. You should see how beautiful they spring up these nice new leaves. It's a beauty to look at. The new babies that coming out, they're just so happy to be outside. So, but I love plants. I mean, from a little girl growing up, I used to love, I'm from the country and I used to love plants. We have a veranda and I used to have my African violets and all those things up there. My dad used to get angry with me and he says, we live in the bush and you bring in the bush in the house. That's what he used to tell me. I love plants from a little girl and I think it's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from the bathroom to the dining room, I mean, it's basically like a rainforest.
When I have to take a bath, it's a job because I have to move my
Move
plants
all this stuff.
from around the bathtub. Yes, but I get great pleasure in them.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
So, okay, so they say plants can detect drought long before we can, right? Because they're super intelligent and they communicate. Like when you're talking about, I know the trees outside, there's this similar to the fascia. For those who've been listening to the podcast for a long time, we had a podcast episode probably in our first year with Mishra, where she was talking about under the skin in our bodies, right?
Right.
We have this thing called fascia, which is like connective tissue that holds the rest of us up, right? Like our muscles, our bones, it holds all the things together. It's like packaging. And when you take it out, it's like a netting, right? So the trees outside under the soil, there's the same similar thing, a netting,
Right. Yes.
where they communicate with each other through this netting. Right?
Isn't that like the roots form a net or something?
Yes.
And if you cut it's like your fingers, right? It's all connected. And if you cut one finger, it affects the whole hand. And it's the same thing with the tree. If you cut the net of the plant, you affect the whole plant. Right. And in your potting, your plants in the pot, when you take them out to repot them, you could see that net too.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So they're talking to each other, they're communicating, and they can detect drought before we can. So, and I expect that, farmers may want to use this technology where the plants are able to communicate, hey, a drought is coming, something like that. But how do you feel about that? Like, are you concerned about the technology? Do you feel hopeful?
I'm open for technology. I'm very open for technology because coming from Jamaica, I tell you one thing, I know about these things. I know about tsunami and the animals. When tsunamis come in, the animals run to the mountains. And I also know about just living here and having plants. I know about that when you have someone sick in your house, your plants is the first indicator of sickness.
How they could tell? How you could tell?
The plant, well, what happened, and I experienced it. Mom had plants. Mom used to love plants. Mom is the one who introduced me to mother-in-law tongue. Mom used to have a lot of mother-in-law tongue when she moved from Brooklyn to here. When mom gets sick, they went one by one and they all died. And because I knew that she loved mother-in-law tongue, when she start get real ill, I took one of her plant, washed it off very well, repotted it, and that's how I have a chain of mother-in-law tongue. Because they will grow, but all her plants died and they got sick. They turned yellow. They got sick. And anybody in the house that is ill, it affects your plants. Whatever illness they have, it affects the plants. Plants are very sensitive.
Yes, I brought, so those two plants I told you that I managed to grow, I was so proud of that. Like, I was proud of them. I was proud of myself, because it was like a huge thing. And I was so emotionally connected to them. So my husband really went out of his way to make sure that we could bring them across country safely when we moved, right?
Yeah.
But in moving to LA and like just trying to personally like get settled here, being able to take care of them just kind of fell to the wayside. I just did not have the capacity to take care of them. You talk about it's like having kids. Thank God I didn't have any because I just didn't.
No, because that's how it is though. Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to get myself together, And so yeah, they died. And it hurt me so much. Not only did they die, but like they grew mold underneath because I tried to in the soil. I tried to cater to them, but I could not really pay attention.
It probably was too
know?
late when you tried to.
Yeah. So and I lost them, which is it's unfortunate, but I'm trying again now that everything is good and stable, and I have
Yeah.
the mental space,
Well,
to
but what you
do that
do, don't
again.
start out with too many plants. And
Right.
the mother-in-law tongue and the not the Diffenbachia, what I call it, the Sinodendron, the one that
The
runs, like
philodendron, yeah.
philodendron. It
I
doesn't,
got one, but it's not fallen down yet. I'm expecting at some
it's not
point.
going to fall down. Speak life into them. See, that's another thing.
No, I mean like cascade. You know how it grow and cascade down?
Right. I tell you something, Sam. As I said, plants are like children. Do you know if you say to a young child, you are terrible, you are no good, you are this, you're that, you speak like that to your plants, they'll do exactly what you say. Plants are like children. They listen to you. They just don't talk back.
Yeah.
Some kids listen. They don't talk back either. Some kids, unless they're very fresh at the mouth. Plants are beautiful. I mean, to me, I could not live in a house without plants. Trust
Obviously.
me. No.
Obviously.
Anything around me have to be live. No, I can't live in a house without plants. And it's funny. I cut the plant leaf and stick them in the water and they grow.
Yeah.
The leaves.
And I've tried that before. The thing.
Mother-in-law tongue does the same thing too.
I should have maybe done that instead of throwing the whole thing out because they're expensive.
You telling me?
I mean,
I was joking with Daddy because we went to Lowe's yesterday and we were looking at the plants. And I says, come, I don't want to see the prices of these plants because you might sell mine them. Sam, the mother-in-law tongue is so expensive. $49 for a little pot of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's a lot. It's a lot.
And you can start yours. You can start 3 pots of it and they grow so easily because I have some. Well, we're going to do a video of it and I'll show you how mine started in water and I stick it in the soil. These are the ones that inside, I don't put them out in the sun because most of these cannot handle the sun. At one point in life, I have over 100 plants. When my house plants was like 50 or 52 and I combined the ones from the shop to the house, but I lose a lot of my plants. That's my aloe vera right there. And if you notice, most of my house plants are green. I have very little colors on my plants because I like green plants. I like green, it's my favorite color. This is another one right here. And I'm gonna take you right here and show you, this is another mother-in-law tongue. They're all over. I do very well with those. They love me. And these are called Diffenbachia. I don't know if you guys know what Diffenbachia is. We call them creepers. And this is another plant. I don't put these out in the sun because the sun really scorched them very badly. And this is another one of my house plant right here. And I'm going outside. I have 2 gigantic plants that I have out there that I keep inside in the winter, but as soon as the summer comes, I put them out here. This is the one right here. I keep this inside in the winter time. And this is the other one right here. So I keep these outside in the summer and they do very, very, very well. And this one also. All these are house plants right here. This also very well. They're like there's one right here that I'm growing up. And that's about it. That's about it for my house plants. Well, at one point I have over 100 plants at one point. Not in the house, between the house and the shop. When I got rid of the business, I brought home some of the plants. I throw out some, I give away some, which was very hard. But no, I think I'm only down to about 50 plants.
I heard that in your voice, the emotion. Like the
I
business,
know.
it was fine, but the plants, it was.
But you know something? I used to have people at the shop come to me and say, "Can I have a piece of this?" And I said, if you would you take one of your kids and cut off their finger? I say, I can't do that. And you know what I'll do? I'll go, the person who wants the plant, I'll go and buy them a little plant of the one they want and give it to them. I would not give, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And it's not that I'm mean, they're my children. Because my kids are grown and gone. So these are my kids now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm working with them.
So they have cat ladies, but you're the plant lady.
Yes, ma'am. No, I don't have a cat. And see, that's another thing too. You have to be careful of pets because some pets damage your plant. Some pets are very jealous. And if you have a cat, cats are very jealous. They will kill your plant because they figure you love the plant more than them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They look jealous too. Their eyes.
They're jealous. Yeah, they're very jealous. So they look at you like
non-trusting.
uh-huh. Yep. You can survive just like the plant in the pot. And they look so good. And I always look at my plant and I say, God is so good to my house plant. Just imagine how wonderful God is to me. So I just leave those words with everybody. Try a plant. Mm-hmm. You know, it's beauty to watch your plant grow because the way your plant is growing, that's just how your faith also grow.